Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to HQ. I'm Beric Livingstone, and it's another Furnace Friday all over the place. As The Guardian reports that in Japan, people are wearing ice packs on their heads and gorging on pickled plums to try to replace salt lost through sweating. Meanwhile, in Germany, they are charging you €3 to spend 2 minutes in a supermarket cold storage room. I myself am finding that sleeping in the chest freezer is the only way I can have a good night, though scraping fish fingers and pavlova off my wig is making my morning routine take a little longer than usual. Anyway, we have an ice-cold £1,000 to play for this afternoon. Yours to win or split if you can answer my 12 trivia questions correctly. Grab an extra life by inviting a friend to play. Now, tapping fingers at the ready as I point you towards Q1. Fingerprints are obtained from which part of the body? Elbows, ankles, fingers. It was in Argentina that the first police force used fingerprints, but as early as Babylonian times we were using them to seal documents. You can program any of these body parts to unlock an iPhone, but which one are you meant to use? The thing you hopefully chose your answer with, it's fingers. Yes, identifying the correct answer, 78,672 of you. Some thought elbows, some thought ankles. Maybe you just had that fat finger syndrome where you couldn't hit the screen. Anyway, our fingerprints are made of epidermal ridges, but the ones we leave behind are made of sweat. Nice. Q2. The second full part of the word staycation stands for what? Abomination, irritation, vacation. Staycation first joined the dictionary in 2009. At the time they thought it was a naughties word, but it turned out been used back in 1944. The word itself is pretty irritating, but that's not what it stands for. It's what holiday calls itself when it's back at work. It's vacation. Yeah, it's taking a rather long holiday, a few of you there, but 74,948 still in the game. It's a holiday spent at home rather than abroad. Great idea if you live in Hawaii. Where I live, not so much. Now, Sunday night is our big game with an £8,000 prize, so join us for that. Meanwhile, happy birthday to Michelle Maloney, hi to Amy Butterworth, to the Saxtons in Derbyshire, to Ben Wilson and Jim in the Schmoigel office, and to the Smurfy twins, or Smurfy twins, all the Smurs here, and I wish you the very best of luck. On to Q3. Which of these is a term for the ordinary postal system as opposed to email? Snail mail, tortoise traffic, slug post. The average British garden has 200,000 slugs, but no letters. Slugs ate all the letters. The tortoise has only won one race, but we're after a proper plodder here. Slow and shelly, it's snail mail. Snail mail sliding forward into the next round, 70,067 of you. 2,500 went for slug post, 834 went for tortoise traffic. You will have to slowly retreat like Vanjie. Emails may be faster, but good luck cramming your Amazon purchases into one of those. Q4. What was the name of the dog that went viral chasing deer in Richmond Park in 2011? Fenton Debonair Montgomery. This is the clip that launched a whole bunch of comedy YouTube clips and a ringtone, some T-shirts. Fenton Debonair Montgomery, 3 names that scream Richmond, but which of them was screamed throughout the video? Falling on deaf ears anyway, it was Fenton. Fenton, Fenton, Fenton. Yes, 51,916 of you knew that it was Fenton. Well done. He was a very bad boy, but his antics have provided 18 million of us with a treat. I particularly like the Jurassic Park version, where it's dinosaurs being chased by Fenton. Q5. Which product first appeared in Atlanta's Jacobs Pharmacy in 1886? Wrigley's chewing gum, Coca-Cola, Colgate toothpaste. Yep, Dr. Joseph Jacob, a very canny businessman, one of the first people to discount products from $1 to 98 cents, started that whole thing going. Now, these 3 are ubiquitous now, but which product would you have to go to Atlanta for in 1886? The reason you need the other 2, it's Coca-Cola. Coke is it, and 25,477 of you got that. We lost half of you on that round. Coca-Cola sold just 9 glasses a day during their first year, compared to 1.9 billion today. If you put a cow in a glass of Coca-Cola, it won't be there in the morning. No. Q6. Which of these animated movies does not star a knighted actor? The Emoji Movie, Fantastic Mr. Fox, Wreck-It Ralph. I enjoyed Fantastic Mr. Fox. It's a Wes Anderson one. And he got the actors. Instead of recording in a studio, he got them to record on location. Very unusual for animation. Anyway, the Emoji Movie was a pile of poop. But that's exactly what Patrick Stewart voiced in it. Starring plenty of heroes but zero knights, it's Wreck-It Ralph. Wrecking your chances for a few of you, but 12,000 of you got that. I'm going to say that was almost savage, but not quite. It was just a pretty mean question. Wreck-It Ralph, the right answer. The Queen wishes she could knight George Clooney, but Michael Gambon was Sir in Fantastic Mr. Fox. All right, 2,056 of you using extra lives to get back in. As we go on to Q7, which of these planets is the hottest? Jupiter, Venus, Mercury. And things are really hotting up as we are halfway through. 12 and a bit thousand in the game. Jupiter has the curves, but he's a freezer compared to the other two. More than living up to her name, she's got it. It's Venus. Yep, Venus, the right answer. It has the thickest atmosphere, like a greenhouse effect magnified. 4,144 if you got that. But I think this is the first savage question of the day because 8,000 went for Mercury. Yeah, well, you weren't hot enough here. It was Venus. Venus maintains a constant temperature of 462 degrees Celsius, just like my flat for the last month or so. Q8. Which of these publishing platforms was developed by a co-founder of Twitter? Medium, WordPress, Tumblr. Twitter is 12 years old, which may account for all the pre-adolescent comments on it. Now, they'll get your thoughts out there, but who hatched from the same mind as Twitter? Twitter was conceived on a slide, by the way. The owners were sitting on a slide in a children's playground. But anyway, back to now. More Ouija board than WordPress. It's Medium. Some really good articles on Medium. And 1,401 of you knew that. I think it's another savage question. Yep, a lot of people thought Tumblr. A lot of people thought WordPress. We lost 4,200 of you there. Just 1,400 left in the game. Double savagery as we go on to Q9. Who was the 2018 special guest starter of the Le Mans 24-hour race? Rafael Nadal, Brad Pitt, Chris Hemsworth. Le Mans, back in '67, is when a racing driver first sprayed champagne over everybody instead of drinking it. Apparently, he saw that some journalists who said he could never win the race were in the audience, and so was the CEO of Ford, so he sprayed them all with champagne. Anyway, it's the world's most brutal, that's right. It's an endurance race and it's pretty nasty. Who waved Le Mans at Le Mans this year? Better with a racket than a hammer. It was Rafael Nadal. And acing that one, 678 of you. Yeah, a few thought Chris Hemsworth, who is into his racing. A few thought Brad Pitt, who did it back in 2016. But maybe 2019 will be Thor's year. Let's move on. Q10. Which of these influential books was described by one reviewer as a heavy-handed piece of propaganda? Brave New World, Animal Farm, The Handmaid's Tale. Classic books, they've all been televised or made into movies. Leonard Nimoy starred in a Brave New World movie. They were hardly subtle with their subtext, but who got tarred with the propaganda brush? Worth a propaganda, it was Brave New World. Brave New World. Hooray for Huxley. 431 of you are hopping on with that one. The initial response to the book was negative, but you'll find Aldous Huxley's classic on the top 100 lists everywhere today. All right, 73 people using extra lives there to get back in. Here comes the penultimate, Q11. Which of these BBC radio personalities featured in the 2006 movie Children of Men? DJ Nihal, Scott Mills, John Humphreys. More dystopia here. In this movie, you got Michael Caine playing a reclusive ex-agitator, and he based his character on John Lennon, apparently. In the movie, British society may have been falling apart after 20 years of infertility, but at least one of these guys was still on the radio. The five-lied legend himself, it was DJ Nihal. Essex boy, Tottenham supporter, Nihal for the winner, 197 of you getting that one right in Q11. Okay, now antennas at the ready because we are tuning into the final round. 197 people moving on, plus 61 using extra lives. Some strategic life use here. £1,000 still on the table with one to go. Here comes Q12. Which of these journeys takes the longest time when travelling on a non-stop flight? Phuket to Singapore, Paris to Stockholm, Perth to Sydney. It's been non-stop excitement in this afternoon's game. And everything rests on this last question. 3 short-haul flights, but which one takes the longest? You can watch a 2-hour movie on the way to Singapore, but that's the quickest flight here. Taking 4 hours to land in the same country you started off is Perth to Sydney for the win. And flying to victory, 82 of you, well done. 82 winners. Something like 1 in 1,000 of you making it all the way through this afternoon's quiz, with Perth to Sydney being the winning answer in that Q12. Perth to London making the news earlier this year with the first non-stop flight taking 17 hours. Not so nice in economy, but not bad in first or biz. Well, first class results for you, Beryl 97, for Philip 64, for Fairy Zally and for Falco, you've all got £12.19 or £12.20. A husky dog that could be a wolf. I'm always getting those two confused. In an Olympic stadium, all of you, well done. You kept your cool. It was great to have a bit of a Friday fry-up with you. I'm Beric Livingstone. Come and find me on Twitter or Insta. Don't forget, we have our £8,000 game on Sunday. And we're back tonight at 9 p.m. for a fun Friday frolic through the wheat fields of trivia. More questions, more quips, more cash. Till then, have a great day. Goodbye.